All right, great. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Graves into Gardens 562. Today's episode actually is entitled Straight Out of Long Beach. If you can see behind me, you can see the little board and it says Straight Out of Long Beach. That's where the titles of the episodes will be whenever you guys tune in. Okay, so I want to start off by saying gracias a toda mi gente, linda gente latina que está viendo y todo el apoyo que me están dando. Quiero darles las buenas noticias y dejarles saber que sí hay subtítulos. Lo que tienen que hacer es oprimen el botón aquí que ven, está aquí abajo, dice CC y después hay tres botoncitos junto de la CC y pueden poner español y ahí van a salir los subtítulos. So, muchas gracias por todo su apoyo. Okay, guys. So, again, welcome back. Thank you so much for all of you guys who have watched and commented and been supporting and all of the great comments that I'm getting on different platforms that we've posted this on. I really appreciate it. So today, you guys, on today's episode, it's going to be conversational between myself and my producer, Garry.
Yeah, Garry.
So what we're going to do is he's going to ask me a few questions and I'm going to answer as honest as possible. And we're just going to kind of get to know each other and just know what this Graves into Gardens is going to be all about. So let's get started.
All right, so Valerie, I'm gonna ask you some questions just to, I guess, to explore the who you are and the reason why you're doing this podcast.
Okay.
All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right. So let's see. The title of the episode is Straight Out of Long Beach, and I am pretty much born and raised here. I went to middle school here, elementary school, high school. I graduated from Jordan High School in 2000. J-Town, that's right. I have been married, I've shared with you guys before, for 18 years. I married my high school sweetheart. We have a teenage boy.
Oh yeah, how old are you?
Oh, okay. I was born. Ooh, are you supposed to ask a lady her age? No, I'm just kidding. I don't mind sharing. I am going to be 40 this year. What?
And okay, so how old were you when you got married?
When I got married, I was 21. I was barely legal.
Wow.
I mean, barely legal to drink.
And how old were you when you had Josh?
When we had Josh, I was 27.
You were 27.
Yeah, so we were.
For 6 years before you had Josh.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And how old is he now?
He is going to be 13 next month. Can you guys believe that? Some of you who are watching this have known him since he was a baby, and some of you guys knew him since he was in my belly, and now he's taller than me. But everybody's taller than me, right?
Next question is, what inspired you to start this?
Okay, so what inspired me to start this? There's a couple of things that inspired me. The first thing that actually motivated me was like, again, you guys remember when the coronavirus was barely starting. So many people were displaced from their homes, and like a lot of people lost their jobs because so many things shut down, right? And a lot of people were like forced to live were forced to move in with like other family members. And when I was seeing that, or when I was hearing that, like from friends and families who are were having people come into their homes, it just made me remember like I shared in my episode, the first episode, that I am a sexual abuse survivor. It made me remember that that's when it started. My parents welcomed a family from Peru, and they had nowhere to go, so my parents took them in, and it was the guy, my cousin, who moved in with us. He's the one who abused myself and my little sister. I was 10 when it happened, and she was 5, and he was 22. So anyways, but this is a heavy topic. I wanted to give a trigger warning to anybody who has gone through this and maybe doesn't want to hear it. Maybe you want to push pause, but I would encourage you to try to listen, because I promise, like, talking about it has helped me so much. Like my voice, if you hear it, it might be a little cracky because is that a word? Cracky?
That's right.
It might crack a little bit because it's still a little bit, it's difficult to talk about it, but so one of the things that's what motivated me, because I remember thinking like, okay, so many people are like moving in with family, and this person who did this to my sister and I was a family member, and my parents took them in never thinking that they would hurt us or anything, or obviously my parents would have never let them in. But I think it's so easy for us to trust family, and we think like that they would never do anything, but it was family who did that. And I actually have a couple statistics that I wanted to just share with you guys. But one of them is about 90% of children who are victims of sexual abuse know their abusers. That's 90%. That is a lot. It's a very high percentage. About 60% of children who are sexually abused are abused by people the family trusts. So again, that's a very high percentage. And these statistics are only a few, guys. These statistics affected me. I'm the statistic here. The other one is a fact. Sexual behavior problems and over-sexualized behavior are a very common consequence of child sexual abuse. Children who have been sexually abused have over 3 times as many sexual behavior problems as children who have not been sexually abused. So you guys, these statistics to me, when I read them, I was like, man, that they're high. The percentage is really up there. And I just thought, I want to share my story. I want to expose this. I want to be able to just be vigilant and be able to just help. Like, I want to just share what happened with us so that parents can like just be aware, just to bring awareness. And, when I read about the sexual behavior one and how we're over sexualized, it's so true, because I remember once that happened to me, I was 10 years old when it happened. And then I remember that I started like messing around with boys when I was 12. And I remember that I was just imitating what was done to me, I would do with boys. And now that I'm an adult, and now that I've like talked about it, and I've gotten therapy about it, and talked to my therapist, she's helped me to understand, and like I'm able to see now, like, this is why I behaved the way that I did as a kid, And I remember like when you're a child and you are acting out a certain way and you just don't know like why you're doing that, but you're doing it. And then I remember like I would do certain things, but like my friends weren't doing that. But now that I'm an adult, and since I've disclosed this, I've been able to like, look back at and like connect the dots into like what's happened in my life, and I can connect the dots on like why I've done certain things, and I've learned to even like forgive myself and be gracious to myself, because I remember the stuff that was done to me, it wasn't my fault, and if you're if you're a survivor, because if you're still with us here, you are a survivor, know that. If you're a survivor of something like this, I just want you to know that, like, again, talking about it is so helpful. Any of you who are listening to this and that are survivors, because like I said, if you are listening and you're here and you're still with us, you are a survivor. Just know that like that statistic about being over sexualized, if you behaved in certain ways when you were a child, and and the thing is, it's sad because so many girls have been abused. And I remember like girls would act out, and then we would just call those girls hoes, or, she's a hoe, or she's a tramp, because she's does this and that. And it's so mean because, we don't know like what it is that these people or these young girls are going through. And we call them names on top of whatever it is that they might be going through. So I think that we just got to learn to be more kind. We got to teach our kids to be more kind. But also, if you have gone through something like this, and you look back at your childhood and how you behaved, it wasn't your fault. What happened to you was not your fault. Somebody did that to you. And don't be ashamed to talk about it. Don't be scared. Talking about it heals. It really does. Anyways, that is one of the big reasons as to why I wanted to start this. I wanted to bring awareness to it. I, the other thing that I wanted to share was I remember not telling anybody about this. I never disclosed it to an adult because I actually, after I did my episode when you guys saw it, I got a few people commenting, like friends from my past that were my friends when I was like in elementary school. And they shared with me that they remember me sharing that with them. And when I got that message from that friend, I lost it because I started crying and like, because again, I have suppressed so many things. I don't remember that, but she told me that I did. So I was like, man, I was disclosing it, but just to like my friends, but I didn't disclose it to my mom or my parents or anybody actually in my family. Because I remember, if you guys remember, watching those Lifetime movies, we used to watch Lifetime movies with my mom all the time. And in those Lifetime movies, a lot of times they were about just different things that happen in real life. And a lot of times they were about like sexual abuse. And I remember my mom saying stuff like, and because, she's a mama bear and she's vicious and, she's going to attack anybody that tries to mess with her cubs, right? So I remember my mom making comments like, if anybody ever did that to you guys, like I would cut their penis off and I would kill them. And like, I mean, my mom, I love her, but she said that, and like in a 10-year-old's brain, you hear that, and in a 10-year-old mind, you think my mom would really kill this person. And I remember thinking like, I don't want her to go to jail. I can't tell her because if I tell my mom, then she's going to go to jail and I'm not going to have a mom and my sisters aren't going to have a mom and my brother won't have a. So, like you think all these things so you don't do it. And I share that to just say, to any parents who are listening to this, just be aware of what you say, be mindful of what you say to our kids, because sometimes we say things and we don't mean it like in a bad way at all, but in a child's mind, when they hear something like that, they think, like I'm telling you, that's what I thought. I remember I was so afraid to think that, oh my gosh, if I tell my mom this, then she's gonna kill him. And I don't want that. So that was the reason that I didn't disclose it. It wasn't because anybody was threatening me or scaring me or anything. And also because I was very ashamed of it. I was. So that is one of the big reasons as to why I wanted to start this, because of the pandemic, because of people having to be forced to live with each other. And I just want to share that, like I said, bring awareness. The other reason was just like I disclosed in the first episode, my husband and I went through a really, really difficult time in our marriage, a few years ago. And I remember when we were going through that, just thinking, I remember trying to look for things online and books and, even searching like Barnes and Nobles, like to try to find something that could relate to what it is that we were going through. And I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything that we could relate to like give me some kind of glimpse of light, or like a light at the end of the tunnel that this can actually work. And I remember thinking like, man, I can't find anything. And then I remember thinking like, if this ever works out between me and him, I want to be able to share, because I just want to be able to give people hope that I couldn't find. I want to be able to give hope to people who have gone through this, but just don't know what to do, or feel like that it's hopeless. Like it's not going to work. This is over. It's not. It is not over, guys. But those were the main two reasons as to why. And also I am going to share more about what happened between him and I in another episode. But I remember just thinking like, if we get out of this and we can overcome this, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I remember thinking, Well, yeah, I look forward to being able to share it and give hope to anybody who's going through the same thing, because I remember feeling so hopeless. So that is the reasons, two of the reasons as to why this was like really something that I wanted to do. And I was like, you know what? I just need to do it. I just have to do it.
Well, Valerie, I can also tell you that you answered two of the other questions I want to ask you, which is what can we expect and what are you hoping to accomplish? I think you answered those questions. I have one more question to ask you, which is who are you trying to reach?
Who are we trying to reach? We're really trying to reach, all walks of life, honestly, because I really want to be able to have different people come to my corner, from, just teens and college students to people who have been married for over 20 years to people who are newlyweds to single people. I mean, all walks of life, honestly. Because I mean, and like I said, like in what we're trying to do here in Graves into Garden is just really share experiences that we've gone through, and experiences in, like I said, like in the earlier episode, in the 40 years that I've had of things that have been graves but have turned into gardens. So like there's things that have happened since I was 10 years old, when I was a teenager, when I was a college student, like so many things. So I feel like I just want to be able to reach people from all stages of life, and even have my son on here. He's a teenager, a preteen. No, he's a teenager. He's going to be 13 in May, like I shared. So, yeah, just all kinds of people, just to be able to inspire, give hope, talk about real life things that are hard to talk about, try to overcome things together, just try to help as many as possible. Even if one person is helped with this, that's what matters. But I'm really excited to do this. And like I said, I'm so grateful for all of the support that we have had. I want this place to be somewhere. I want it to be a place of healing, a place where we can be transparent, right? A place where we can expose ourselves and not feel ashamed to do it. And I mean expose what it is that we're talking, how we're feeling, and the difficulties, or not. It doesn't always have to be difficulties, just even like the great things that are going on in life, right? And just learning to have open, healthy communication, and learning how to deal with the things that have affected us, things that the traumas, guys, that we go through, the traumas that we've gone through as children, traumas that we've gone through as adults. Just that's what I want us to be able to talk about those things. And, actually, I want to share for my next episode, it's actually going to be entitled Father's Day. And the reason it's going to be entitled Father's Day is because my guest that I'm going to have on here is my sister. I can't wait for you guys to meet her and, to have her here as my first guest. And we're going to be discussing actually the day that we confronted our abuser. And the day that we were able to confront him was on Father's Day of last year. It takes a lot of courage to do that. So I'm really proud of her being willing to do this, because it's not easy. But like I said, talking about it helps us to heal. So I look forward to having you guys back at our next episode. Thank you so much again for joining us, and I'll see you guys at the next episode. Bye.